Welcome, guys, especially if you're coming over from my blog over at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. That contest I'm running ends next week. By next Thursday night at midnight, it'll be over. You guys, I don't know what you're doing, but you've pushed me up from being over ranked 35 about 3 days ago. I am currently ranked 15th, and I'm moving up. That's awesome. If I get in the top 5, just like my contest says, the person who submits the most evidence of sharing my stories will get possibly up to 75. I might put it up to $100 if I can, but it's going to take a huge push of about 20,000 more views before I can do that. So you guys are helping me out big time. That's awesome. Thank you for that. If you're just now coming across this channel, I hope this stuff helps for you. It will help for your season-long league, and it'll help for your daily fantasy league if you play on any daily fantasy sports. But most things I do are going to be according to FanDuel and their prices. But let's get right into what this story is about. This one is about my NFL top 10s by positions. Until we get to tight ends, then it's only going to be top 5. So let's get right down to the list. And as always, I'll have my sports blog that'll have just the little facts, and then I'll have here who has more in-depth. So let's get right into it. This is your fantasy top 10 for week 8 in the NFL. By quarterback position, we have Drew Brees, and it's pretty simple as to why I put Drew Brees first. He is just now coming off a loss and a bye. He's had time to think about it. Now he's at home against a secondary that's just awful. I'm going to say he's going to be the top QB this week, and he could easily put down 4 to 5 touchdowns if he really wanted to. So look for him to be really good this week. Second is Matthew Stafford, and even though his stats might not have shown it for the first couple of ones, he was mainly not doing as good as he usually does because Calvin Johnson was hurt, and as you can see now, Megatron is back. So I look for Matthew Stafford to, I'm going to say against that Dallas secondary, he's going to have a pretty good game. He may even put up 25, 30 fantasy points. Just depends how it works out. So look for him at 2. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. And he's going up against Minnesota. And Minnesota is exactly what you think it is. We watched that awful, awful game this week. And it was just the worst Monday Night Football game I've ever seen. And it was just sloppy, and Josh Freeman, but now Josh Freeman's out, so it's back to Christian Ponder. So we see how they will do. So I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers is going to have a hell of a game this week. I'm not going to say he's going to top Drew Brees. He could easily. It just depends. Aaron Rodgers also has lack of his starting team that he had a few weeks ago because of all the injuries, but the Browns, I can't really say much because it was the Browns, but it is going to be against the Vikings, so that could be just about as bad as it was against the Browns. So look for him to have a good day as well. Number 4 is RG3, and RG3's back to what he did last year. He's running, he's throwing, he's connecting, he's getting that play. And he's going up against Denver, who is coming off their first loss, and now it seems Peyton Manning's been held out from practices because of a hurt ankle that he obtained last week when he got sacked. So in Denver's defense just gives up those points, and RG3 can run it, and if they get behind, he'll throw it. He's got people to catch. Alfred Morris comes out of the backfield. He can run it or he can catch it. You got Pierre Garçon. You got Jordan Reed, who just came on the scene. So he's got a lot of weapons to go with. I do see the Broncos winning the game, but it doesn't matter who wins the game when it's fantasy sports because it only matters about individual stats. So RG3, he's looking good at number 4. Number 5, Tony Romo. As I mentioned before, I think Detroit and Dallas is going to be a shootout, and Tony Romo always has those ways about him to have those huge shootout games. It was supposed to be a shootout this past week against the Eagles, but both defenses decided to show up against each other on the same exact day, so he didn't get as many points as he could have, but he did get a decent amount. Number 6 is Peyton Manning. He was going to be number 1. Of course, he's always number 1 almost, but he is hurt. We don't know how that's going to affect his game. I don't know. So he did drop down, but he is the highest priced QB, and we don't know if that's going to be worth it, but that's basically how that one breaks down. Then we've got Colin Kaepernick at number 7. He is back to Colin Kaepernick of last year. He's running it. He's passing it. Frank Gore's having a big game as well. They're going up against Jacksonville. I don't need to say anymore, really. Jacksonville. And his price is not a lot. You would think it might go up because of being Jacksonville, but it is not. So look for Colin to, I think he's going to run the ball. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to hand off for anything. Frank Gore is going to have a huge game too. But we never know, so let's look out for that. Then we've got number 8, Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady being Tom Brady is not a long time ago. He's not as good as he was last year, but he's also not as bad as he's been. He's having a decent year. I mean, the record's not going to show it because it's always that last-minute thing. And he is coming off a loss to the Jets, which is that controversial call, but who knows. That's my dog. Say hello to Heidi. Thank you. Anyway, let's move on. Tom Brady's going up against Miami, but it is in New England. It's getting colder. That's where Tom excels. Miami's warm. Whether or not that factors in, that probably has a little something to do with it. He's coming off that loss. He's got that taste in his mouth. I foresee the Patriots going up by at least 2 touchdowns, and Miami just having to throw it and throw it and throw it and try to get back in the game. But I do see Patriots winning it. And the last one that I have, or number 9, is Ben Roethlisberger. And he's coming off a win. They're no longer winless. And it was a pretty good game that they won on. They won by 3. He's not his old self, but he's also doing a lot better than he has been. And I'm going to say that Ben's going to have a good game. He's not going to have the best game. I'm going to say he's going to have at least 15 fantasy points. But that's just, he's going up against Oakland. And if you can contain Terrell Pryor and make him throw up the middle or make someone run up the middle, you can contain that team and you can take that off. And the last one I have, number 10, is Russell Wilson. He's having a phenomenal year, even though he started out kind of slow. He's been progressively getting it. He's been going hard at it. He's been doing good at it, and I believe he's having a good game this week. I don't see much problem in the fact that Russell Wilson can throw the ball, and he might have Percy Harvin back, which gives him an even more of a better weapon. So look for that. Let's go start off with top 10 running backs. And we'll go with, I'm going to name them. It's LaShawn McCoy at number 1, AP at number 2, Jamal Charles at number 3, Marshawn Lynch at number 4, number 5 is Eddie Lacy, Frank Gore follows at number 6, Noshawn Moreno at 7, Alfred Morris at 8, Mike James, who's filling in for Doug Martin, who's probably out most of the year, number 9, and Darren Sproles, number 10. Let's get right down to it. LaShawn McCoy. I don't know what happened with LaShawn last week. He didn't have the best game. But last time that they played the Giants, he had a good game. And he's number 1 this week again. The price kind of reflects that he's number 1. It is up. And these are not going with prices being the highest. But I do see him having a good game. Number 2, Adrian Peterson always seems to have a great game against the Packers. Although reports today are saying that AP is messing with a hamstring, which could possibly be why they didn't give it to him as much times as they could have last week. But look for AP to have a great game this week, regardless. Jamal Charles, he's going up against Cleveland. It's Jamal Charles. He's the best back this year. He is a touchdown machine. He's going to get you those 6 to 7 target catches a week. He usually, yards after catch, are amazing for him. I'm going to say he's going to average. He's averaging 22 points per game. I'm going to say he's going to get over 25. I'm going to bold predict on this one and say he's going to get over 25 fantasy points for you this week. It's going to cost you a lot, but I think he's going to be well worth it. Number 4 is Marshawn Lynch. He would be number 1 if this game were at Seattle where they have the 12th man, but he always has those 3 touchdown games at home. I'm not going to say he's going to have those at home, but he is playing against a bad run defense, and I'm going to see he's going to go into beast mode. That's just all I'm going to say. He's going to go into beast mode. Number 5, Eddie Lacy. He has a small price jump finally, which kind of coincides with his efforts and what he's put forth and his results. The Packers are Madden cursed, I think. Their entire team's getting hurt. This is where Lacy needs to step up the running game. They're going to have those catchers. They're going to need to run, and it's going to be Eddie Lacy, and it's going to go to him, and he's going to have tons of carries, I believe. I believe he's going to just dominate the run game. Number 6, Frank Gore. He's looking like his old self. He is getting kind of old, especially for a running back, but he's looking like his old self. He puts his head down, he runs hard, he gets those points. He got 17 last week. He's averaging pretty good. He's helping out teams season long, daily fantasy sports. He's doing good. If you need someone with a lower price that can also produce, Frank Gore's your guy. Number 7 is Sean Moreno. He's always a threat, especially if Manning's hurt and he can't drop back and do the 3-step drop pass. You got Moreno. He can run the ball. He's always keen for that 3-touchdown game, 4-touchdown game, 200 rushing yards. He's the number 1 back. They're going to sometimes give it away to Hillman, but I think he might be a little injured prone this time. So Alfred Morris, number 7. Or Sean Moreno, number 7. Alfred Morris, number 8. The Redskins, Mike Shanahan going back. They're going to give him a tribute in Denver. I think Alfred Morris is going to have a huge game this week. Huge game this week. Number 9, Mike James. Don't know yet. His price is low. He's stepping in for Doug Martin, who's hurt. Give or take as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's on your own. If you want a boom or bust player and a running back, low price on FanDuel. Bring up the prices of QB or what you're looking for. Mike James is the guy. Number 10 is Darren Sproles. Breeze is going to need someone else to throw it to. And whether or not that is Pierre Thomas, Darren Sproles, his price has gone down. And if Jimmy Graham is hurt, he's going to need even more people to throw it to. And Darren Sproles could be that person. So let's hurry up. Top 10 wide receivers. Calvin Johnson, 1, 2, Vincent Jackson, 3, Dez Bryant, 4, Pierre Garçon, 5, Harry Douglas, 6, Greg Jennings, 7, Jarrett Boykin, 8, Eric Decker, 9, Jordy Nelson, and 10, Mike Wallace. Calvin Johnson, it's expected to be a shootout with Detroit. So was the game last week with Dallas and Megatron. If you watch that game and they threw that jump ball up in the end zone and he jumped up over everyone last week and he caught that ball and came down with it, that was amazing. And that's what we expect from Calvin Johnson every time. He has not done that every time. That's what we expect. He's tall. He's athletic. He's going to have a great game. I think the rest of the year he's going to have great games. He's not hurt and he's looking good. Number 2, Vincent Jackson. It's Vincent. He's been amazing the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks, him and Mike Glennon are on tap. It's unbelievable. So, and Tampa Bay's passing game is Vincent Jackson. That's all they have. So look for him to have a good game. Dez Bryant, again, it's going to be a shootout. He is the opposite, just like on Detroit, Calvin Johnson, who this week he kind of compared himself to him, but whatever. I think Dez Bryant's going to have a huge game. He's always keen for those 8 catches over 100 yards, a couple TDs. I think it's going to be another one of those weeks. He's going to get you 20, 22 fantasy points this week. Number 4 is Pierre Garçon. And I think when the Redskins are down by 2 touchdowns to the Broncos, they're going to have to throw the ball. And RG3 can't run it all the time. He's going to throw it to Pierre Garçon. He's also going to throw it to Jordan Reed. So look for Pierre Garçon to have a good game. Just like I said last week, number 5, Harry Douglas, Matty Ice, has no one else to throw it to besides Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez did not have a good game last week. Harry Douglas had a great game coming in. He's still at a low price. It has jumped up since last week, but Harry Douglas is doing good. So, and Roddy White seems to be out again. Harry Douglas is your man to go with. Pick him. Go with him. Number 6 is Greg Jennings. Jennings against his old team, the Packers. He said he felt brainwashed there, but then he brought in the report that he was just kidding. And it seems like anytime we go against someone who's playing against their old team, they end up doing amazing. We do not get the points. Greg Jennings is a low price considering his just track record of his years playing. He's going up against Green Bay. He kind of knows how the defense works, kind of knows the routes. So I think Greg Jennings is going to have a breakout game against his former team. Number 7, Jarrett Boykin. Really, he's going to be in there. He had a huge game last week. Like I said, I believe he's going to have another big game. I don't think it's going to be as big because Jordy Nelson will be the main target because he has not got a defense cornerback who's good enough like Joe Hayden was last week. But I think Jarrett Boykin also gets his targets, and I think he produces. And his price did jump up a little bit, but it's still not a lot for how much he produced last week. Number 8, Eric Decker. It's kind of a random crapshoot in Denver, and he's got so many targets to throw it to. It's unbelievable. But I think Eric Decker's going to have a good game. I'm not going to say, and he doesn't want to say he's a go-to target from Peyton Manning, but he has been reliable. All of their tight ends, their wide receivers, everyone's been on the offense of Denver has been reliable. Number 9, Jordy Nelson. Again, I think Jordy Nelson's going to just go off. He's going to be the number 1 for Aaron Rodgers this week. He's not got a great matchup against the Vikings if you watched how the Vikings played last on Monday. So Jordy Nelson's probably primed for a big game. He's going to cost you a little bit more, but look for that. Number 10 is Mike Wallace. I think that, and this is only based on because Talib from Patriots is out. He's hurt. And the Dolphins are going to get down by a couple touchdowns, and they're just going to be in catch-up mode, and they're going to throw it. I think he's going to have a good game. And tight ends, there's only 5 of them this week. Jimmy Graham, Rob Gronkowski, Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed, and Tony Gonzalez. Jimmy Graham, he's the best tight end. If he's not hurt, check back closer to game time to make sure. If you want to save some money, you can go with some of these other picks that are more value picks. But Jimmy Graham is that price for a reason. So if he's healthy and he's out there, I think he's going to have a good game. He can only do better than his last game because he had 0 points last game. Gronkowski, he's back. He looked good. He got his share. He's not on a time limit. He's been practicing all week. I think he's going to do good again. Vernon Davis, he's always going to have those up and downs, it seems, and last week was more of a down. I think this week might be an up, so look for Vernon Davis. His price is not totally low, but it's also not high either, so look for him. Number 4, Jordan Reed emerged on the scene last week. I feel like if the Redskins get down, like they're probably going to against Denver early, there's going to be a bunch of passing. It's either going to be Garcon or it's going to be Jordan Reed. And Matty Ice loves Tony Gonzalez. He's got Harry Douglas, and that's it. So Tony Gonzalez is the next target. He did not do so good last time. I think he's going to do good this time. So that helps you out if in your season-long league. That helps you out in your daily fantasy league, especially on FanDuel. Check those. If you have not heard about my October contest, I'm giving away up to $75 in prepaid Visa, PayPal, stuff like that. Check that out on my fantasy sports blog. That is fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. What I need you to do is I need you to share my stories. I need you to email with proof that you shared my stories. In a drawing, the person who shares the most will get up to $75. I'm thinking of putting it up to $100 if I get into first place. You guys have pushed me from mid-30s just 3 days ago to 15 right now. That's awesome. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Please subscribe on here. Please follow me on that blog. Share my stories. Share my videos more in depth. I hope this helps you guys. Hope you get that money like I did the past few weekends. Hope you bring home that bacon. Have a good day, guys.